I want to start with a couple of just thoughts in your mind, just to kind of lay the groundwork so that you kind of get you thinking. How many people in here have a sales quota to hit? You have a number to hit. It's not uncommon. I will tell you this, that number's not going down. I'm going to guarantee you that. I'm going to go out on a limb on behalf of your companies. Do you have a customer that would cut you a PO today if you walked in and laid a contract in front of them and you actually, presented it and they were confident that it was valid for their uses? That's what you're going to find out about doing, and it can be just that easy. If you have a contract, you get the business. Okay, that's important for you to understand. There's also understand they're going to have two questions that they're going to ask themselves. What do I need to buy, and how am I going to buy it? You got to have that thought in your mind. What does your customer need to buy, and how are they going to buy it? Are they going to use their own contract process, or will they buy off a state contract? Will they buy off of a neighboring contract? Will they buy off of a cooperative contract? So those two questions I want to plant in your mind as we move forward. The other one to keep in mind is, do they have to bid it, or does it need to be bid? Okay, it's just a thought process for you to think about what your customers are thinking about. Do I have to bid it myself, or does it just have to be bid? So, just want to plant those thoughts in your mind. Purpose of our training here together today is I want to make sure you guys have an increased awareness of the NJPA organization and your contract. I want to increase that information and that comfort that you have with us. I want to help you simplify selling to government and education. I'm positive that there's been companies that have walked away from government and education business because it's too difficult. You've got to chase too many processes. There's too many repetitive calls. It's not worth it. Well, that's changing because it's getting to be now where government is easier to sell to than the corporate world. Government tends to have a little more money right now than the corporate world in this down economy. So I think you're going to find out that this will be a simple way, an easy way to sell to government and education. But before we get started, I want you to ask yourself why you're here. Why did you come to this meeting? Why did you make this a priority in your daily schedule? I know you're busy. I will tell you that you're here because you want to leverage the knowledge that's available. You want to leverage the strategies that have been developed by NJPA and by other vendors. It's going to be important for you. You guys are driven, I can tell by just meeting you. You're driven to find a new way to do it, a new way to close business. It's a very competitive market out there, and you guys are not going to sit by and do business like you've always done it before. That's why I think you're here. I think you're also here because you're committed to changing the way you do things. And you're committed to lead your customers to do business a little bit differently than they've done in the past. Keep this in mind, and we always talk about this, and talked about it out in the hall just a second ago. We all benefit from the success of others in this room. When Vermeer's successful, Staples is successful. When Kubota's successful, Vermeer's successful, and right down the line. Okay, so we all benefit from those successes. First of all, who is NJPA? I always like to start it like this. I'm a public employee. And that usually levels the playing field. A real public employee. I'm not from a marketing company that promotes a government contract. Jeremy and I are actually public employees. NJPA is a government agency. Usually if you can convey that to your customers, it changes the whole conversation. Oh, they are just like us? Yes. We are an agency that's just like the customers that you're calling on. When you call on a school, we are actually built and established under the school district statutes of our laws. So we are just like the customers you've been calling on. All of our employees are public employees. We actually, our membership is at no obligation, no cost, or a requirement from our members. That's important. We're governed by publicly elected officials. People that are elected to school boards, city councils, county commissioners, and then re-elected to serve on our board. So we really are truly a government contracting agency. We have statutes that establishes us and gives us the foundation to do what we do. I'm going to throw this slide up here, and it's not to tell you how well we've been doing. It's to let you know that contract purchasing and contract selling works. We'll do up in excess of $600 million in contract sales through 150 different contracts. Again, the only reason I mention it is because I want you to be confident that what you are going to be presenting to your customers is of interest, okay, and is valued, and it's working. And don't let anybody ever tell you that nobody's doing this, because they are. Okay, so I might come up to this slide, we may reference this again, but that's the reason I throw that slide up there. This room in itself represents some of the higher world-class companies in this country. You can see all the different contracts that we have contracts with. Our vendors typically represent the highest class of companies in the country. So you were in good company, and there's some of them up there, maybe competitors of yours. That doesn't necessarily hurt you. We have become the go-to organization for contracts because of all the different solutions that we have. All right, what's our responsibility? And we do have a responsibility as a contracting agency. We have a responsibility to do our contracts and our bids properly and do them on behalf of our member agencies. So we solicit nationally, and our contracts are awarded by our board of directors. These aren't just backdoor deals. These are not negotiated arrangements. These are competitively bid and awarded contracts. So keep that in mind as you express to your customers who we are. We do facilitate the process ourselves. We don't do it through a third-party organization. We don't use a lead agency. Okay, some of you may hear about, well, they don't use a lead agency, or you'll hear people talk about piggybacking. We don't even use the word in our building. We don't piggyback. We are a contracting agency. We are the lead agency for our own contracts. So kind of keep that in mind. It may seem like a bit of semantics, but it's not. We are the agency that holds the contracts. This is important to you because you need to know when you go into a customer what they're looking for. What is it that a government agency or a school district is looking for? One of the things they're looking for is somebody that expresses a knowledgeable message. Somebody knows what they're talking about. Somebody that they can trust, that they're not going to get them in trouble. The last thing a school or government wants, and maybe it's happened, I know it's happened across the country, a school district or city gets their name in the headlines of the newspaper. Such and such agency found in violation of procurement laws and subject to this. That's the last thing anybody wants. So they need to know that you know what you're talking about and that you're going to lead them down the proper way. They're looking for a legal contract pathway. They're looking for one that will save them time, money, and give them the high quality products and services that they deserve. So those are the important things they're looking for. They need a contract that has a procurement file to it, one that's supported by a contract number, which is in a bidding process that was competitive, and one that they can reference that follows and meets their requirements. That's what they're looking for. That's the comfort level that they need to be able to move forward. They also need to know it's done by a government agency. That's who we are. And keep that in mind. Don't ever let anybody tell you that we're not. Okay? At the end of the day, they really are looking for an easier way to buy what they need. And they need to have it being done legally. So understanding what the customer's needs are will help you when you develop your contract message. Always keep this in mind as well. We have the authority to do what we do. So again, don't let anybody tell you that they don't have the authority to bid for me. We do. We have the legislative authority that allows us to procure contracts. We have the authority through our joint powers laws to work with other governments in other states, specifically written in our statute. Okay? The comfort level will vary from state to state. I'm just going to tell you that. Because it's rock solid, doesn't mean that every buyer that you call on is going to completely buy into it. It's going to vary. They're going to hold the card that can actually start or stop the process. So don't argue with them. They hold the cards as far as how they interpret their own laws and their abilities to use contracts. Who qualifies? It's sometimes easier to say who doesn't qualify, but this is a list of all of our qualified customers and the verticals that can use our contracts. It runs the gamut. All government, cities, counties, schools, housing authority, water districts, American tribes, school systems, public and private, not just K-12 private or public schools, private schools, charter schools, any of those entities qualify. Get into the hospitals, the nonprofit part of it. Many times they don't require a contract process. Like a hospital, they're not required by the law to buy off of a competitively bid contract. They like to, they prefer to. Many times the pricing that your contract holds is actually going to be pricing better than what they could get on their own, or better than you could offer them based on their own volume. So Those are some of the customers. If you're not going after some of these verticals, you should. Rural power companies, rural cooperatives, churches, nursing homes. Some of these just maybe, oh, wow, I never thought about that. So these are ones that are going to be important for you to look at. Why does the customer benefit? What's their interest and how do they benefit from buying off of a contract? Number one, it's going to reduce the impact of their staff reductions. Schools have constant cutbacks, governments constant cutbacks. By using a contract like this, it reduces the impact. They don't notice that they don't have half as many people there doing their jobs. So that's going to be a really good big benefit to them. They don't have to duplicate the bidding process. You know, it stops what they normally would have had to done. This eliminates that duplication. They're going to get pricing and a full line of products that they never had available to before. Usually when a government bids, it's line item equipment or it's specifications of a certain type of equipment. Our contracts are not done that way. Our contracts are solution based and it's the full line of products. It's Vermeer's entire line of products. It's John Deere's entire line of products. It's entire line of products that Staples offers. So now you don't ever have to go in again and say, well, I don't have that under contract. We didn't get that unit or this unit. It's your entire product, and it's everything that you add also becomes a contracted item. This is you've probably all been around this. This avoids the chance of a school or government suffering through the effects of a low bid. I got stuck with low bid. I got stuck with a piece of equipment or a solution that I dreaded, and they pay for it from then on. They really value that. The low bid experience is something that today we shouldn't have to ever have a government go through again. So it's really important that they avoid that. The fact that they can choose you, it's important to them. They like the fact that they can look at what they need and they can pick the vendor that they prefer. They can pick the manufacturer they prefer. They don't go out to bid and hope to end up with a Staples or a John Deere or a Vermeer or a U.S. Foods. They can pick you. That's the benefit to them in contracts. End of the day, they get the products, services, and equipment they deserve, and that's important to them. Now, what's the benefit to you? What's the benefit to your company? What's the benefit of selling off contract? Well, number one, it's going to reduce the number of calls and meetings that you have to have with the government. It's going to reduce the communications. You know, it's going to be a lot easier to close the business that you need. It's going to streamline that selling effort, something that typically is kind of cumbersome. Okay, you're going to find that to be beneficial. Full line equipment again. You're going to get a chance to benefit from our national marketing. We market nationally. Customers in the local area here are going to be aware of this contract, and so all of a sudden they're going to be a lot more receptive. And they may even call you and say, hey, I know NJPA's got a contract. I'd like to use the contract. So you're going to get business based on our marketing. Okay? You're going to get the business that you deserve. Everybody in this room, I know, actually goes out and deserves the business. You don't always get it. You don't always get it. Sometimes somebody buys the business, or you get undercut, or for some reason you don't get that business. You're going to get the business you've earned and every bit of it that you deserve. And that's something I think should be beneficial to you. How does it work? Pretty simple. We're the contracting agency. We establish the membership pathway between the agency, and then we actually identify what their needs are. We do that through membership. Then we go into a bidding process and a competitive national process, and we enter contracts with your companies. Once the contract's established, we put you together with the member. Pretty simple three-legged stool, but that's exactly how it works. We don't get involved in the bidding or the selling process only if the customer needs information or if you need information on what to do, or if there's questions about the validity of anything or any concerns that they may have. Membership, very valuable to our members. There's a lot of benefits to the membership. One of them is that the fact that it reduces a protest. Why would I join NJPA? I join NJPA, I buy off their contracts because if the protest comes, it comes to us. It doesn't go to the individual agency. There are some large entities, and I'll say the city of Charlotte's probably one of them. Every time they go out to bid, they end up with a protest. Is that pretty safe to say? Yeah. You know how much time that takes the city of Charlotte just to fight the protest? And then they usually end up with the wrong solution. Okay? It's not right. Joining us, and the city of Charlotte is a member, and using our contracts almost eliminates the protests. Okay, that doesn't cost them anything to be a member, so that's why they're joining us. And the business continues through our contract. That's what membership does. People will say, well, why did you buy off of NJPA? Simple fact is, because we're a member. Literally, it's end of discussion. There's nothing more they can say about why didn't I get that business. Okay, so your competitors, they don't have a leg to stand on. That's why they join us. It increases the awareness of us, so they join us so that they're aware of the new contracts that we've just awarded. The fact that we just awarded UPS, they wouldn't know that by being members. We communicate with them, and they're aware of the contracts that we have available. Talked about the 150 contracts and growing, and the fact that that membership will establish that paper trail that's important to them. We'll get into a little bit more about how to join, but I always say this: membership is more important to them than it is to us. We love the fact that we have over 47,000 member agencies, but really, when they join us, it defends their decision to buy off of our contract. Okay, it actually just takes all of the questions out of the room. And so that's why we want them to join, and again, it's more to their benefit. Here's a little bit about how to get to our membership. Has everybody kind of had an idea from your company on how to get to our membership? Okay, that's good. Not many know, because now you're going to get some new information. It's very easy to get there. We have over 47,000 member agencies. It's an Excel spreadsheet, a very large file. You go to our website, click on the NJPA Access. At this point in time, it's in the upper right-hand corner, lower left. That will give you the opportunity to click on the membership, download it, password is value. And now you're in. You know our password, now you're family. You'll be able, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and I know all of you are good at this. You can sort it by vertical, by state, by city, by all kinds of different configurations. And I encourage you to go to it. Find out in your sales area who are the members. You'll see that the city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, are members of NJPA. And we'll go to another slide, and we'll show you some of the numbers of the members in your area that are members of ours. So everybody got that? We update it, I would say at least every 2 weeks, so go to it often. Go to it often, find out who the members are. Also, you might want to know what members are buying. We can give you a report and tell you how many contracts the city of Charlotte is buying off of. That might be important to you, because if you're selling facilities and you know that they just bought janitorial, that might be at least a familiar idea with that department. So your contract manager, and we'll talk about how to get that, can give you that kind of reporting. I'll give you the city and or the customer and which contracts they've been buying through. So very good intelligence that will help you. Very important, and we'll get to this in another slide, but you guys need to start owning, continue owning the process of helping people join. You need to be very comfortable with the process yourself. Go to our membership, our homepage, click on the join, look at the membership. It's about 8 or 9 fields to fill in, and get comfortable with what it takes to become a member. And that way you can lead your customers to become members. I would encourage you to get them to do that before they have a need or before they want to buy off your contract. Get them to be members. Once they become a member, they're much more likely to buy through the contract. If you wait until they have a need and you go to them and say, oh, why don't you join first? It may slow the process down. They may have to go to a city council or to their director or whatever to get permission. Get your customers to become members of ours now. Again, we have a lot of them, so you may not have to duplicate it, but learn what it's all about, get comfortable communicating how to do it and what the benefits of membership is. Here's where we are in North Carolina. I think we're all pretty much in this sales area here. We have 747 members in the state of North Carolina. 93 cities, 102 counties, 54 higher ed, both public and private, 204 K-12 public and private schools. Got a pretty good footprint here in North Carolina. You guys need to leverage that. You need to leverage that. You need to know who those are and the fact that they're buying off of other contracts of ours. It's powerful to you. Now here's the dollars they're spending. So don't tell me it doesn't work in North Carolina. It works in North Carolina. This is a good state for us. Just the cities alone, 3.8 million. 4.8 in counties. Higher ed, 2.7. K-12, which is our largest group nationally, is K-12. So it's working. So kind of try to get comfortable and confident with the fact that your contract will work with these customers. I don't even know if we have the nonprofits down there, but that's almost a given. Okay? Marketing. When it comes to marketing, I don't believe we have many peers when it comes to our competition. We are a dominant marketing force. Looking at the information I laid before you there, we've got a couple of collateral pieces. We got our directory. No, our competitors, they don't even come close to this kind of marketing material. This has all of our contracts listed in here, all the contact information. We have a full fleet division. Half our catalog is fleet related. We have a pull-out tab that identifies just the fleet section. You lay this in front of a customer, that in itself is going to impress them as far as who NJPA is and what you guys are connected to. The About Us. This is going to tell you, again, to educate you on who we are and your customers who we are, and what NJPA is all about. Our enabling legislation that allows us to do what we do is all going to be included in here. So this will be very useful information for you. We'll get you as many of these as you ask for. Okay. So if you have customers and you need however many, let us know. On the back here, your contract manager is one of these people. Okay. And we'll actually send you out information. First, you could go onto your website and find out who your contract manager is, but we'll talk a little bit more about how specifically to find out who your contract manager is. But this is a very valuable piece of information that will give comfort to the cities and the counties as far as the legalities of who we are. It'll talk about our 11-step bidding process and what they need to know about how we do our bids. So we also have a newsletter, second to none. Our newsletter is powerful because when we send it out to your contacts and they get it to you, it's another reason to touch your customer. Just another reason to say, oh, by the way, here's the NJPA newsletter. That newsletter is not going to be something that they're not going to appreciate looking at. It's not a boilerplate type newsletter. It's going to talk about the new contracts that we have. It's going to talk about where we are, where we've been, and some industry-related content. You'll appreciate it. Your customers will. So it'll be another credibility thing that you can use with them. Website, just in the process of rebuilding it, I think for the 4th time. We believe we'll have the best website on the planet, kind of where we have the bar set. Okay, so give us just after the first of the year, we hope to launch that. National trade shows, you're going to feel the effect of our national trade show presence. We tend to dominate a trade show. When we do our main shows for the cities and counties and K-12, we'll have a 20 by 20, and we'll be there in a dominant way. Many of your companies are there, and they will probably agree with my opinion of our marketing. Internally, I've mentioned to the lady out in the hall, we can do this same kind of training through our studio. We believe we have the state-of-the-art studio, somewhat close to the CNN quality, where you can click on a URL. Myself, Jeremy, or any one of the contract managers will come up live on your computer screen. So no matter where you are, we can do these kind of trainings. And this is something that you need to encourage with your sales teams to participate. Request, hey, let's do a training. Be receptive to it. And we don't always have to travel like this. We have these kind of meetings when we get in your area. But we can do it through the web, through our studio. This is the get to know us that we're talking about. One thing I'd like to ask you, if you wouldn't mind doing, any of your colleagues in any other states, tell them, hey, if you ever get a chance to do one of those get to know us's, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Because it just opened my eyes and the light bulb went on with regard to what the contract can mean for me. So promote this within your sales team. If you ever need any additional assistance, that's what we do. We're gonna do whatever we can and whatever we need to do to help you guys embrace the contract and be effective and successful with our members, your customers. Another step, yeah, Mark, go ahead. We put this video together, and we're going to make this available. It's on our website. We think this sums up kind of our story, and I think you'll be able to use this with your customers and find value with it. But this is another example of our marketing. Just a real short clip.
So you're a public agency purchasing agent, and before making any purchase, you ask yourself the same 2 questions every time. What do I need to buy, and how am I going to buy it? It's your responsibility to award the best vendor to provide the best solution. And if there's no existing vendor contract, you have to bid it, which takes a lot of time and effort because you work really hard to evaluate the best bid for the project. But let's be honest, at the end of the day, best bid usually means a low bid vendor. And it ends up costing your agency in more ways than financial. Which begs the question, do you have to do the bid? Or does the procurement just have to be bid? Either way, NJPA has the solution. That's right, it's no longer the best kept secret in the purchasing world. The National Joint Powers Alliance goes through the same competitive bidding process as you, so you don't have to. And they have the legislative authority to procure contracts. NJPA's members' contract use exceeds more than $500 million in purchasing annually. They have more than 140 contract solutions bid on a national level. And by leveraging the volume of the country, they can consider more than just price. You know, other important factors like quality and credibility. And get this, NJPA maintains all procurement documentation for you, so everything is stored safely and you have a secure paper trail, and it's all done in one place. It's like you have an existing contract for everything. So say goodbye to the bidding process. Start using the process that's already been done, and done well on your behalf. Join NJPA today at njpacoop.org.
Now, could you imagine, just taking a guess, if you was to take one of your customers to our website, show them that video, would that lay the groundwork? Would that clear up anything? We think it will. And so it's right on our website, the link's on there. Go to it, make sure you know where it's at, and they either direct your customers to go there before you come in for a meeting, or while you're there, say, hey, let's watch this real quick. I think this will clear up kind of what I've been talking about. So it's just another example of our marketing and what we will do to help you guys be more successful in the field. Other examples of our marketing. We do national publication ads on a regular basis. These are just some examples of some of the ads that we've done, full page ads in publications, all listing all of the logos that are available. And this goes out to the different verticals, to the cities, to the counties, to the colleges, to the schools, to the fleets. So this is the level of marketing that lays the groundwork for you. Here's a full page ad that we did just on behalf of Sharp. The reason why, just because we had an emphasis, they were coming out with their new whiteboards. So we did a full page ad for them. But imagine how this helps you. Okay? Somebody sees this ad in here, starts talking about why NJPA. All of a sudden they start, wow, competitively bid, national pricing, one-step ordering. That's you too. So our marketing is will definitely advance your efforts in the field. And we are going to do what we need to do, and I think we all are going to benefit from that. Your role. You guys have a role as well. When it comes to marketing, we need you to identify where those local marketing efforts are, where the local meetings are, where the local exhibiting opportunities are. When the K-12 meet in North Carolina, it's the North Carolina ASBO. Okay, when the NIGP chapter of cities and counties meet, you need to be at that conference. You need to find out where those are. Put your flag up. We'll give you supporting information to talk about our contract, but you guys need to do the local marketing and the local advancement of the message. Part of the reason is because it's your customers that are going to be walking by. We're going to do the national marketing. We need you to do the local marketing, or even meetings. Try to find out where those facility guys are gathering. Say, hey, can I bring a box of donuts? I know you guys are gathering in the facility areas. I want to talk about Vermeer or John Deere, or I want to talk about janitorial. Don't be afraid to find out when they meet and try to get on their agenda. They're meeting all the time, okay? You just need to find out when those are and try to plug yourself in. Get that newsletter back out to them. Don't just look at it yourself. Get it out to your customers and say, gosh, have you seen what else NJPA's got? I always use this example in how vendors work together, not to get off subject, but we have a roofing contract, and the roofing vendor knew that a roof was sold about every 10 years, maybe even longer. But he knew that Granger was sold every single day. So he would go into his customers and he'd talk about Granger. Which he said, NJPA's got Granger, they got this, they got that, they got this. And he knew that when the roof come around, that customer would appreciate the fact that he was always trying to help him. So it may not be what they need today, and that newsletter might talk about UPS, or it might talk about our new garbage truck contracts. But it's always going to lay the groundwork for you when it comes time for the products that you offer for that particular customer. Okay? So help spread the message. It's your responsibility to do it locally, and we'll do it on a national basis. I think some things I want you to look at here. Embrace those strategies that will allow you to be successful sooner than your competitors. And that's what it's all about. So what is the reality in the marketplace? Here's something you have to get your hands around this. And this has changed within the last year. And it's almost kind of an announcement. Everybody's got a contract. Your local competition, it's not an advantage anymore to have an NJPA contract or have a contract. It is an advantage to have an NJPA contract, but you got to keep in mind your competitors also have one. Okay, so it's really something that you need to adjust your strategy to react to. You need to make sure that you understand that the culture has changed. Governments, cities, schools are buying off contracts. Accept that and adjust your strategy to react to it. Okay, the other thing is that sometimes if you wait for that bid to get out on the street, the business is already going to be closed. Now that can benefit you because you get to the customer before they go out to bid and you close the business. But if you're sitting back waiting for that business, that bid to hit the street, you're already too late. And that is the reality of the business. That's the reality of the marketplace today. They're buying off contracts. They're shopping contracts. And it's just the reality. That's exactly what they're doing. So you need to get there first, make your contract their idea. And when you do that, you're going to be successful. But know this, if you don't, your competitor is going to be there with another contracting agency and maybe even an NJPA contract if there's a competing contract with NJPA. Get there first. Get them to buy you, buy your equipment, and our contract. Now, and in that order. They can like us, not like you, and you won't get the business. That's just the way it is. Everybody in this room knows that. Okay, so that's the reality of it. And here's something to really keep in mind is if you do a trade show or if you do a meeting, focus more energy on how to get to your products, not so much your products. And I know that sometimes can be a little bit of a rub. It's like, geez, I got to promote my product. Everybody knows the world-class companies we have. You got to tell them how to get to your products. Just think about that. Focus on the pathway to get to you and not so much about what you have. A little bit more on a member usage. Give you confidence about where this is going. 2008, 2012. This is tremendous growth, and it's all because of you guys in this room and the vendors that we have, and the members that have changed the way they go to market or the way they do business. So you're a part of a company and an organization that's growing because of the value we have. They don't do $600 million in sales because they without incidental or do it incidentally. They do it with serious thought. And I think we have around $100 million customers, 100 of them, that do over $1 million with NJPA. That didn't just happen by chance. Serious thought went into that level of embracement of NJPA and you, the vendor salespeople in this room. Back to this slide. You got a number to hit? I know you all do. I'm also going to remind you it's not going down. You need to find a different way and a better way to hit that number. And selling off contract is going to do that for you. It's where it's going. Get ahead of the game, get ahead of the bid process, and you're going to get the business you deserve. What do they need to buy? How are they going to buy it? Just start thinking about that with your customers. Start thinking on behalf of them. What's the city of this or the county of that going to buy? How are they going to buy it? Are they going to buy a state contract? Are they going to use one of my competitors? Are they going to use me? Or are they going to go out to bid themselves? If I get to them beforehand, I make what I have their idea. It's also beneficial the fact that they want you. They want you, but if you don't give them a chance to get to you, they'll likely revert back to their old ways. They'll do a bid, or they'll buy off a different contract. You can control that decision that they make. What do they need? Do they need to bid it, or does it just need to be bid? Okay. A few strategies as we start to kind of wrap up here. I'm a firm believer that you have to start right, and then you got to stay started, even if it means starting over. If you've been doing some things that haven't been working, start over again and start right. Understand our message. Understand how to present it. Understand that you need to be confident about how to present NJPA. Start over. Go back in and make another sales call. Say, hey, listen, you know what? I don't think I quite described the opportunity right. Get a confident talk track about who we are. Embrace what we're talking about. Embrace each other's successful strategies so you can be successful sooner than your competitors, because they're going to be successful as well if you let them. It's important. I think you understand that. We like to feel that one of our strategies that's very important is to connect with each other. And no one is doing this in this country effectively, and it's something that we've really leveraged. There could be somebody in this room right now that is the key to your success. Somebody that has the relationship that you only could dream about. You need to get to know the people in this room. It's just senseless that somebody doesn't find out who the sharp copier dealer is in Charlotte, or find out who the steel case dealer is in Charlotte, and the John Deere rep can certainly leverage a product that they don't compete with, maybe Vermeer. And these there's a connection between you guys that you can leverage each other's relationships. I don't expect to see John Deere and Case dangling feet at the pool. I just don't. Okay? But I tell you, there are connections in this room that can benefit each other. And always keep in mind that any one of us that are successful, we all benefit from it. So that's a strategy that's really starting to take hold. And I encourage you to connect with you go back to the logo slide. Say, hey, who do I know in this area that might have a relationship with somebody that I'd like to? And the common bond between you is the NJPA contract. That's what we have in common. Training, don't forget it. Embrace it. Commit to it. When we train, we win, and when we don't, we fail. No exceptions. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. I really want you to commit to the confident message. Get to be an extension of what I am, what I'm talking about, an extension of Jeremy, an extension of your contract manager. Get the same talk tracks, get the same confidence in the contract and in the different way that they're going to do business, because it's going to be different than what they're used to. Present that contract solution. When you present the contract, don't go in there with as a backup. Put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward. Put your best price out there based on the volume of the situation. Our contracts are ceiling based, so if they're going to buy multiple units, you can lower that price down to match that volume. Okay, everybody kind of understand the ceiling based concept of the pricing? Okay, what it is, our contracts are all ceiling based, and so that's the most you can charge. If there's an opportunity where it's a volume commitment, or it's a longer volume commitment is the best one, or if there's certain competitive environments, you can lower your price down to meet the members' needs. Okay, get your hands around how that works, and always put your best foot forward. It'll serve you well. Sell yourself, sell your equipment, and sell the NJPA contract. Work on the membership. Embrace how to join. Get it so that it becomes next time you go out and make sales calls, or make specific sales call about getting your customers to join. Once they're on board, you're going to find they're going to be a lot more receptive to buying off your contract. It's a first step, and I encourage you to get comfortable with it and promote it happening. People they're not receptive, or they're receptive to doing so because they'll see all the other members that are members. Look at the list. They may already be a member. They don't have to join again. But if they choose to, that's fine. They may have a membership that maybe the guy retired or the gal retired. They may want to renew or refresh their membership. If we get duplications, we'll sort them out. So don't be afraid to encourage rejoining, or continue to work on getting your existing members to be or existing customers to be members. Plan to succeed. Plan to succeed. Go in there confidently. Get yourself a flagship customer. Where's my fuel master guy? Close the deal with, what was it?
Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools.
There you go. Okay, that's his flagship customer. He may have a few more of them, but establish a customer you can point to. It's not uncommon for governments not to want to be first, but I'll guarantee you this, none of them want to be left out. None of them want to be left out. So get that flagship customer. It'll start selling itself for you. They'll start, and they will. Once they commit to buying off a contract, and you suggest that, hey, would you mind telling a few other people? They'll do it. They will tell other people about what they've done and what's worked well for them. So get that flagship customer. Can't stress this enough. Establish their needs far in advance of them going out to bid. You need to know what your customers' needs are and what the timeline is. Once you know that, you get to them and you make your contract their idea. Okay, once that happens, it doesn't hit the streets. If it hits the streets and you don't know about it, it's already closed. He's probably already got it figured out or spec'd you out. People have been spec'd out. Okay? Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Get your customers far in advance, understand what their needs are, and make the contract their idea. And you're going to be successful long before the opportunity goes. Encourage them to tell others about the contract. They'll do it. As I mentioned, it's a powerful message, and they'll share it with others. Then don't forget to share the contract success within your company. Don't be an island on your sales team. If things are working for you, tell your colleagues within, I don't care if they're on the other side of the country. Let people know what's been working for you and how you've been able to get market share in your area. Share it with other salespeople and make sure that people know what you've done differently that's helped you close business. When I read this the first time, I thought, wow, that's powerful. How many people here read the book Good to Great? If you haven't, I suggest you read it. This was a quote in here that just sticks with me. I'll just read it to you. Your success may not depend on what you stop doing, rather what you start doing. Maybe I even said it wrong. It may depend on what you stop doing. Okay? Stop waiting for the bids to hit the street. Start getting to them before they go out to bid. It's going to change your success. I want to really thank you for being here. I respect you. I respect your time. I don't want to keep you any longer, but if you have further questions, our plane don't leave till 6 o'clock. So thank you so much again for being here.